Thanks for watching the Paul Farrington Show. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all of the above. And make sure you follow us at Paul Farrington Show on Instagram. Thanks for watching. All right, and welcome into the Paul Farrington Show, the reactionary show from week 2 of the NFL season. A very happy Andrew Keenan, a pretty down bad Jack Weinberger, and we'll find out about me because we're recording an hour before the Vikings and Eagles kick off. Zach wants everyone to know he is very happy, and we're actually going to lead off with Tua Tagovailoa and the Miami Dolphins because
fins up, boys.
What a win that was for you guys. It's too bad we don't have a camera on Zach today because he's what is that? Is that your
This is a Tua jersey? It's
yeah.
Tua. I wore Hill for the game.
You had Hill yesterday. Yeah, guys. Andrew, I know you hate him, but Tua Tagovailoa yesterday.
I don't hate him.
36 of 50, 469 yards and 6 touchdowns. Do you know his fourth quarter stat line? I have it written down here, but have you heard it?
I know he threw for like 3 or 4 touchdowns.
13 for 17, 199 yards, 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, I'm happy that somebody was happy this weekend. So exactly.
I was ecstatic. But like I said, I don't hate Tua. He has never I hate Tom Brady. I don't hate Josh Allen yet. Like when these guys kill the Jets and rip their heart out, that's when I'll hate them. So I don't hate him, but he
Yeah, like you said you'd give him credit when he played well.
Listen, I said I'd give him credit when I saw him play well. I was busy watching the Jets' generational comeback.
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see it myself either. I didn't watch it.
Listen, I will say on record, if the Bills come into Miami next week, he plays well, has 300 yards, 275, and 3 touchdowns, I will get off the take that he is terrible.
Okay. Ziggy, let me go to you because I know that you have a lot of thoughts on this. Tua Tagovailoa, great game. The weapons around him, phenomenal. We know that Tyreek Hill brings a completely new dimension to this Dolphins offense. Are you a believer in Tua, and can they win the AFC East? What is the ceiling of this Miami Dolphins team?
Well, I was certainly impressed. I'm still not convinced Tua's a top-tier quarterback, but he did a lot more than I thought he would, even considering the weapons around him. But I think the thing people have to keep in mind is this was an incredible comeback, right? They were trailing by 21 points entering the fourth, but he played poorly enough to put them in that position. And I think being down 21 going into the fourth and throwing for, 3 or 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, that's not sustainable. That's not sustainable. So I think we're going to have to see a lot more for to be confident that this Dolphins team can beat the Bills, because the Bills have nothing left to prove. Right? They've proven they can hang with the big boys. They've got an elite offense. They've got a strong defense. The Dolphins have a historically terrible defense right now and a medium offense that showed up big in one moment.
That's also on that dumbass defensive coordinator from Michigan. I did see clips, and Tua was making the throws, but Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle were running wide open. So he got him the ball, which, again, there's been Jets quarterbacks who we've had guys running wide open and they can't get him the ball. So I will give him that.
A few of those throws were 55, 60 yards in the air.
Yeah.
He played well. Jack, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, so I was Ziggy. I do agree there. Tua, what he showed us in that fourth quarter was greatness. It was a ceiling, and it showed that he can accomplish that, which was great, and that's what Miami needs. But he also showed an incredible low. For the first 3 quarters, it was 35-14.
They were getting blown out.
And he looked horrible. So I do agree that he needs to show me more on a consistent basis for me to really hop on his bandwagon. But I got closer to hopping on his bandwagon from that fourth quarter for sure.
Can they compete with Buffalo, though?
No.
No?
I still would probably say no.
Well, I think that the Dolphins are in the right track, honestly. And if Tua is this guy who some of you think he is, that definitely helps him a lot. But the Bills are probably the Super Bowl favorites, and the Dolphins are not there yet.
I think Miami's good.
Oh, yeah, they're not bad at all.
I think they're a playoff team, better than the Steelers. We stink. But it's just a matter of Buffalo being probably the best team in football.
Yeah.
I don't know. In Miami, though,
Go ahead, Ziggy.
Here's the nice thing, though, is the Dolphins over the next 4 weeks are going to be playing the Bills, the Bengals, and the Vikings. They get a chance to prove they belong, right? A lot of teams, you have to wait until late in the season to see. This Dolphins team is going to have a very clear idea of who they are by the end of October.
Just like the Jets.
Yeah.
But we
know who the Jets are. We know who the Jets are.
Winners.
I haven't taken too much of a look at the Week 3 slate yet, but I have to think that Dolphins-Bills is probably the game of the week, because if they're able to win, if Miami can get this done, I mean, all of a sudden now we're talking about a team that maybe they could contend for the AFC East title. It's a big game. If you lose it, I think that
That's
pretty confident.
it's either that or Jets Bengals, our game of the week.
It's just, I'm pretty confident if you lose to
How about,
Buffalo,
Steelers Browns?
Buffalo runs away with the division at some point. But a win here, and maybe thoughts start to change. What I learned, though, is that when Miami's clicking, when Tua's rolling, I mean, their best punch can knock out anyone in the NFL.
The thing is, though, they need that fourth quarter effort for 4 quarters against the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
To win that game.
They got to score 35.
They got to hang in the 30s, which
yeah.
they wish they could. But if Tua's having a bad
The
day,
Bills also have an elite defense.
it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. game.
Tua's the story today. But those receivers, Waddle and Hill, when you
they're
watch
phenomenal.
them, the speed that Miami brings to the table, I don't know if there's another team in the NFL that can match them.
No.
You're looking at two receivers who both had over 150 yards and a pair of touchdowns. When was have we ever seen that before?
No, they were the first in the Super Bowl era to have over 11 or 10 plus receptions, over 170
They had 180
plus.
each, right?
What they had,
179 was Waddle.
yeah, but it was like to have 10 receptions, have 170 yards and 2 touchdowns. They were the only one in history to ever do that.
Oh, no, they were incredible all day. And I think that's been an underappreciated story of the weekend is just how good these weapons are in Miami. The Gesicki catch was unbelievable. I mean, what did he catch that at? Like 9-10 feet in the air?
Yeah,
that was
he played
phenomenal.
basketball.
Yeah.
He's
yeah.
gritty after, though. Paul, you might have to
No,
go teach
the
him some
gritty-
I
gritty
loved
after.
that gritty.
Oh, my
Yeah.
goodness.
That was like my gritty.
It's I can see that. I can see that.
That's probably better than my gritty.
Just to put a little water on this, though, you do have to remember the Dolphins have no run game whatsoever, right? And against a team like the Bills that has a really strong pass rushing, can constantly rotate guys in, it's going to be a real challenge when everybody knows. Tyreek Hill has a lot of experience carving up the Bills, but even with that considered, it's going to be tough for them to maintain this kind of effort if they can't get a run game going. And are Raheem Mostert and Chase Edmonds really going to get that done?
No, they're not. Zach, what was that stat that you shared yesterday about the comeback?
Oh, the Dolphin, this is the first time from 2011 to 2022 that a team has come back in the fourth quarter down by 21. It was like 0 and
It was all time,
711.
right? It was all time, I thought.
No, it was from 2011 to 2022.
Wow.
And it was big for me because that keeps us in first place in the AFC North. And despite losing to the Pats, horrible game, that Miami comeback, we're first place still, and thanks to the Jets as well.
So Miami, they
Miami,
have our
Miami
attention.
falls.
Oh,
right
yeah.
there.
That is what's going to happen to the Dolphins next week, right there.
There he goes. There he goes. So Miami, they have our attention. We'll see if they can keep it next
If they
week.
beat Buffalo, they're my Super Bowl pick. I will go on record right now if they beat the Bills next week.
That's not like you to be in the moment like that.
No, because I'm high on them. I'm high on this team.
Yeah.
So if they beat Buffalo next week, they're my AFC.
The
But-
Jaguars.
think about it.
Maybe they'll be the cap of the week.
Maybe.
No, this is the last thing I'll say on this. Like last year when we saw that great Bills Chiefs game, it was like, oh, Allen Mahomes, Allen makes play. And I just see there's no chance being Allen Tua. And that's if the Dolphins defense was there and they could get some stops, then it doesn't need to be Allen Tua. Like the Chiefs defense could not get stops. The Bills defense could not get stops. I don't think the Dolphins defense will be able to get stops. So then it's going to have to be Allen Tua. Tua.
But Tua could be him.
He's not him.
If you think Tua is him, here's what you should do. Take the entire game, all the game footage from that Dolphins-Ravens game. Flip the footage so Tua looks right-handed, and you will see he is not making the throws you think he is.
Really? That's interesting.
That video's on Twitter. I did see it.
I haven't seen that yet. I'll have to go back.
No, look, AFC.
Listen, if you think
takes
Tua's
a
him,
jump.
bet on him to win the MVP because he's actually the leading. He would be with his stats. He's a favorite right now.
Yeah.
and you could still get his odds. What is he like plus 3,000 or something? So take him.
Yeah.
No,
Do you know who the
AFC
top
pick
three
is a
passers in the
stretch.
NFL are right now? You know who the top 3 passers are?
Well, I get Tua has to be up.
Yeah.
there.
Tua's number one.
Who else? Who else is going nuts? Who went nuts? Jared Goff.
Nope. The number 2 is Joe Flacco. Number 3 is Carson Wentz.
He
if you want to
stinks
place a guy on any of
All right,
those
he's-
3
Wentz
guys
is
to
my
win the
third guess.
MVP, be my guess. If you want any of those guys to be your MVP, be my
Listen,
guess.
Joe Flacco's looking like he's going to lead us to 16 and 1.
We'll
so.
get there. We'll get there. Let's move ahead.
Maybe
Jimmy
we will.
G, Trey Lance, 49ers.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Jimmy G, Trey Lance, and the 49ers. Unfortunately, Trey Lance breaks his ankle. Right? A gruesome break. I haven't seen the
I
pictures
saw
yet,
it.
but apparently
that stuff doesn't bother me though. But it was the opposite.
like
way.
opposite.
Like he tried to get up and then he like looked down and was like, "Oh,
that's
yeah, it's
horrible.
opposite."
I was
I
thinking
felt so
Kevin
bad
Webb.
for him too. He's getting a chance. He's their starting quarterback.
Well, his
young
career's
kid.
over now, unfortunately.
Well, I don't.
Yeah,
You don't think?
Well, I think the 49ers are now going to go whatever, 11-6.
No, next year. I think.
You think they're going to go back to him?
Yeah, I think next year they'll go back.
When like his main thing is his ability to run, like be a dual threat. That's why he's in there.
Well, no, I think that he's running right now because they don't trust his arm, and I think the goal is for him to eventually get to the point where he can throw.
I think this sucks. I think this is going to be tough to come back
it's
from.
horrible. Go ahead, Z.
The mismanagement we saw from Shanahan is insane, though, because we're not talking about the Josh Allen thing, right? Where you run a QB draw, you let the pass develop, and then you see if the quarterback wants to run. This was his third time in this game running straight up the middle from the snap. The 49ers have zero faith in him, right? I feel like the only reason they were playing him is because they can't admit they might have been wrong. And at that point, it's almost like they were asking for him to get hurt. I don't mean that's actually what they were doing, right? But if Shanahan doesn't improve the scheming around Trey Lance, he's never going to get better, and he's going to keep getting hurt.
A lot of people would push back on that and say that Shanahan was fine to call those plays because of the skill set of Trey Lance right now. To win that game, you need him to be running the football. Would you disagree with that?
There's a difference between having your quarterback run and calling a bunch of plays where your quarterback goes right up the middle into 350-pound D linemen. Like, that's just asking for trouble.
Especially
here's the thing, right, is he's not... Josh Allen is 6'6". He's huge. He can take the hits. You can't send Trey Lance up the middle like that. So, no, yeah. I'm not convinced that...
It also, this game had the feel with Seattle being so bad, not scoring anything on offense, where I don't think you needed to put Trey Lance in harm's way like that. You could have won that game several ways.
14, 17 points would have won.
Yeah, you could have won that game several ways with a lower scoring game.
It's interesting to me. I think this is a really unique situation because how many times have we seen a quarterback go down and the backup comes in, and a lot of people think that now they're a more serious contender. Like with Jimmy G in now, I think most people find San Francisco to be more of a
Super
threat.
Bowl experience opposed to someone who's second start ever.
Yeah, no, for sure he does. But I look at San Francisco as a whole right now, and I see Nick Bosa and Fred Warner on defense, prime of their careers. Debo Samuel, stud, prime of his career. George Kittle, he's not getting any younger, a lot of injuries. He's ready to win now. And Trent Williams, what is he, 36, 37?
Yeah, he's old.
Like, this 49ers team is built to win now.
Got a good back.
A quarterback like Trey Lance, he needs a couple of years. That's a project. I think Garoppolo comes in, and all of a sudden now San Francisco's looking at a pretty wide open NFC. Are they more of a contender today than they were Sunday?
I mean, how could you not say that, right? Like, Jimmy G, you put a decent team around him, more than decent, a good team around him, like we've seen in the past. He's got them to where they need to be. He was one game short.
The team loves him, too.
Yeah, they love playing for him.
Well, I think the whole thing is, like, they are more of a playoff contender now because I think they're, like, almost a lock to be in the playoffs now, but I don't know if they're more of a Super Bowl contender because I give these guys a lot of credit, like these head coaches, these GMs, over people like us. Like, these guys are in the room with them every day. And if they went to Trey Lance over Jimmy Garoppolo, they must think, like, yeah, this guy could get us there, but he can't get it done. So that's why they're willing to, okay, maybe even though, you know, our playoff percentage goes down with Trey Lance, if he figures out his arm,
the ceiling.
Yeah, the ceiling is there. So I don't know. But I do think the 49ers are fine. I don't think it's like, oh, our season's over, whereas other teams.
Because also, like, a lot of people forget, including myself, as of, you know, this very moment, I just remembered, the Niners had that Super Bowl one with Jimmy Garoppolo.
If he made one pass to Emmanuel Sanders, they win the Super Bowl.
That throw.
Yeah.
He did. He missed the throw.
He missed the throw. He did. He did.
Before that.
But
they
like,
still should have won, even with the missed throw.
Yeah, they had that game won. He took him there.
Yeah. No, he could get the job done. I still can't believe. Real quick, I can't believe that you're wearing this. We'll get to it.
Look, man, I had a fun time with the trip.
We'll get to it. I'm just looking at
and one thing I will say to back up Ziggy's point, I don't know how 49ers fans feel, but being a Jets fan, also with having like a young quarterback, and Jack, when Pickett comes in, like when Zach Wilson got hurt, and it was even preseason, like they have the ability to make these great plays with their legs, but I'm just screaming on my TV, like, go out of bounds, do not get hit.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure that 49ers fan, even though Trey Lance is like this running guy, they don't want him doing QB powers up the middle, getting laid out. Like I watched Justin Fields last night. He was doing QB powers up the middle and getting laid out by like these enormous D-line.
390
stop with
pound,
this. Yeah.
Oh, you got to think, like, Ravens fans, as great as Lamar Jackson is, every time he takes the ball up the middle, you're scared that he's going to tear his ACL.
Well, that's why the contract dispute. I think he's crazy for not accepting whatever $250 million guaranteed.
Something
he goes up the middle one time and like a Dolphin comes out of nowhere yesterday and just levels him. He's done.
Yeah.
So it's tough.
I mean, I know more than anybody else. I had an old quarterback, and Big Ben is finally years of his career. He'd be running up the middle, be like, Ben, get the hell down, get the hell down. That's a 37-year-old man right there.
Go ahead, Ziggy.
I do think you got to be. I mean, people are excited about the 49ers. I get it. But I do think you have to worry that this team's not going to be able to even make the playoffs if these injuries keep continuing, right? They're on their third tight end. Who knows when Kittle's coming back? They're on their third
Better be
running
soon
back.
for my fantasy team.
They're on Jimmy Garoppolo, the backup quarterback. And let me tell you, the guy behind Jimmy Garoppolo is Brock Purdy. And Jimmy is not known for staying healthy. That's another reason they wanted to move on. Trent Williams is 36. He could get hurt at any time. Like, this team is full of players who get hurt. Fred Warner, Jimmy Ward, like all these guys.
Bosa gets hurt too, yeah.
If I'm them, I'm very nervous about health. And now with Lance gone, with these running backs gone, with these tight ends hurt, there's no room for injuries. And if there's anything you know about the 49ers, it's that they get hurt.
Yeah, that's a great point.
You're alive until you're dead, and while they're healthy now, you can't really worry about that, in my opinion.
Speaking of
they're hurt, it's more of a concern.
Potential for injury, quarterbacks who could get injured. Joe Burrow and the Bengals sacked 6 times against Dallas. That's 13 times now in 2 games. And remember when we were talking about the Bengals? And Jack, you were right about it.
I said it too. I said that this was the Giants of like 2011, like they missed their shot, and I said that this team, we've all crowned them this great team. They were actually projected to be bad last year. They outperformed what anyone could have ever thought. And now their holes are kind of showing. People realize it's Jamar Chase. It's these long, big plays. Let's play zone. Let's rush the passer. And they look terrible.
And that's why I said, to back up my Jamar Chase argument in the first episode.
He still looks good. I have watched him.
He does. He does. I said the Cincinnati Bengals team with this young hotshot quarterback and this young hotshot squad would have a big red X on their back now. And they do. The Pittsburgh Steelers came to clobber them. The Dallas Cowboys, who stink, came to clobber them.
Everyone looks at them and says AFC champ.
And they do not look good to me at all.
Go ahead, Ziggy.
And I'm not surprised.
He's a big Bengals guy.
He is a big Bengals guy. He is.
Let's not forget here, right? We're talking about a brand new Bengals offensive line. There's a lot of new players, and they just faced the 2 best edge rushers in the entire league back to back. So the offensive line is gonna improve. The synergy is gonna improve. The teamwork's gonna improve, and they're not gonna be facing players like T.J. Watt and Micah Parsons every week.
I would say, like, if you're like a team that people think you're going to be, you should beat the Steelers, who stink. I'll admit it, they stink at home, and the Cowboys, who stink.
Quarterback.
You need to beat Cooper Rush.
You can't lose those games.
You have to beat Cooper.
If you're a Super Bowl contender, you cannot lose to Cooper Rush.
They lost to Cooper Rush.
To be fair, he did play. The Dallas game plan was very good yesterday.
That's how they should play when they have Dak.
Yeah, for real. I do want to say real quick, I said Jack was right about the Bengals. I don't want to say he's right yet, just because we're in week 2.
Oh, yeah.
But seriously, we talked about the offensive line and how they brought in all these new guys, and it was supposed to be an improvement. They're going to be worse than they were last year at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the stat specifically is, but I know it's like if you go 0-2, I know your playoff 1-1, your playoff odds or whatever it is, 57%. And I know when you go to 0-2, it like drastically decreases.
0-3 is the death.
I don't know if you could look it up, Ziggy, because you're on your computer, but it's like 0-2. I don't think anyone's like, it's ridiculous, the stats. So again, they're not looking good right now.
The thing is, they also play in a bad AFC North.
I was going to say the division's not as good.
The division's not that good. I mean, we're in first place right now.
Well, they already lost in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
They're not beating the Ravens from what I've seen.
They could beat the Ravens in Cincinnati.
As of now, it's hard to say they can, but they could.
Yeah, I guess.
But I don't see him winning at night in Pittsburgh. I think we'll beat him again.
Ziggy's not going to be happy about what I'm going to bring up here. I seriously think Micah Parsons has a claim to being the best player in football.
I agree.
He is.
He's on
What do
pace
you
for
mean
what,
I'm
like
not
30 sacks
happy,
or something?
Paul? I've been on the Micah Parsons train since day one. Yeah, I don't know why you're saying this. I've been on the Micah Parsons train since day one. I think he's one of the most exciting players in football. I think he's an incredible talent. Honestly, if Micah Parsons plays like he did last season, I'm willing to give up the title. T.J. Watt, nowhere near the talent level of Micah Parsons.
Really?
So it's really just Parsons and Donald at this point. Oh, you're gonna see. You will see this year, Micah Parsons.
Seriously. If Micah Parsons was told just go rush the passer, go get him, he's gonna break. He'll break the sack record.
I mean, I think that's.
How many does he have for 2 weeks? 4?
I think he has 4.
4 or 5.
But he's doing it easily.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty outrageous to say.
No, he's not. It's close between him and
he's dropping back and guarding people.
Oh yeah, no, he's good. He's fantastic.
Yeah, he's fantastic. You also think it was screw him and screw Penn State.
All right, let's talk a little bit about these New York Jets here. And Andrew, why don't you take us through your game day, and then we'll tell you why you should come off the hype train.
Well, okay, so this is usually how it goes. I wake up Sunday, run 9, 10, hungover from, the day of betting college football and lose it. I lost because, I was following people like Jack, so I was losing my picks.
Brutal day.
I wake up. And usually how it goes, by this time I've tricked myself into thinking the Jets are going to win. Mm-hmm. So I wake up, I start feeling good. I start thinking about the loopholes like, Garrett Wilson's going back to Ohio. He's going to have a great day. Joe Flacco, he's a veteran. He knows how to rally these guys. Saleh. I mean, I do hate the Saleh running stairs. However, I will say on record right now that when the Jets beat the Bengals this week, I will be in Pittsburgh week 4 running stairs with Saleh. But yeah, so they start the game. The defense looks atrocious. We look terrible. I mean, the Browns are getting whatever they want. Run 5 yards. Run 5 yards.
Exactly what I said, right?
Like right there. That's what
I had Nick Chubb as a fantasy player. Believe me, yeah.
Run 5 yards. Run 5. Oh, now we're all selling on the run. It's play action out the back door to the tight end 10 yard. Horrible. We can't stop a nosebleed. We're scoring. The offense looks good, blah, blah, blah. I mean, we did leave, like Joe Flacco, I will give it to him. He played a great last 2 minutes, but up until that point, he wasn't phenomenal. Like,
it was a good game, though.
Yeah, no, he didn't play bad, but like, Jadeveon Clowney had that strip sack where Joe Flacco was literally standing there like a statue again, and he like throws out his bare paw and just takes the ball from him. That's terrible. But yeah, so the final 2 minutes, and by the way, I didn't sit down for one play the whole game.
Can I ask you a quick question about the final
Yes.
2 minutes before you get into it? Could Chubb have gone down to win the game?
Yes.
Was that really? Because I missed that.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
No, that's not. Come on, go down.
the Browns.
Wait,
guys.
No timeouts.
The Browns.
Game over, right?
Yeah.
No timeouts. 2 minutes and 2 seconds left. My dad said it. I think he watches. As soon as Nick Chubb went in, he's like, that idiot went in. Like he said immediately, he's like, they let him score. Like we have a chance now. And I was like, okay, we might actually like crazier things have happened, which they haven't. Crazier things have not happened. Then he misses the extra point, and I'm like, okay, hold on a second.
This is divine intervention. Now.
I'm like, all right, I don't know what's going on. He missed. Okay. Then Corey Davis is running wide open. So I'm like, there's no way they're really going to do this, right?
Well, it's the onside kick. There's no way you get it.
I've never seen us get an onside kick.
Who was cooking? Who was kicking that onside kick?
Braden Mann, who I was calling for him to be cut. So he kicks this onside kick right to Amari Cooper, who has 9 catches for whatever 112 yards and a touchdown.
Great day on my fantasy bench.
Some special teamer, no name, flies in there, somehow gets the ball from him. Our special teams captain, I believe, Hardy, recovers the football.
The joy on Andrew's face right now. If you're not,
this is
it's like he's watching it all again.
This was one of the best days of my life. Like I'm not exaggerating.
Best days of your life,
Paul. This team like.
Oh, I remember the spiel from last week.
Yes, this is all I care about. And I thought it's as a Jets fan and to Zach's stat since 2001, 21 years, no teams have came back from down 14 with 2 minutes left. You think it's going to be the Jets who break that?
And that's why I'm not faulting Nick Chubb running to the end zone.
Well, this happens to us. Like we do this. Like we're up 7 and they get an onside kick, and then we're tied. They get a kick. This happens. I've seen it happen.
Hold on.
Wait. Go ahead, Ziggy. What you got?
You said what since 2001?
Yes, that's
Do you know
true
which
fact.
team? Do you know which team in 2001 lost by 14 points or lost up 14 with less than 2 minutes?
I'm sure it was the Jets.
Cleveland Browns.
Oh, it was the Browns.
Well, that makes sense.
That makes more sense,
It makes
actually.
sense.
No. The Browns are also a poverty
they're
franchise. They're worse than the Jets.
They probably are worse than the Jets.
But, so then we get to that 3rd and 10. We're driving, and like I don't believe it. I'm still like, this is all times Jets. We're gonna be right on the doorstep. Everything, these receipts we're talking about, all this nonsense, and we're just gonna blow it here. Garrett Wilson does a nice like in cut touchdown. So I'm like, all right. Now,
Come on. I mean, you got the.
No. I'm going crazy.
Andrew, I saw a video that was posted by your brother of you going the most nuts I've ever seen a person in my life when the touchdown was scored. What are you talking about?
No. But I'm yes. No, I'm talking mentally.
Okay.
But if he kept recording, I did scream at him to shut the phone off because this.
I did hear that too at the very end.
Yeah.
Shut it up. They shut it off.
Because this has
Back your
catastrophe in
seats.
all of it.
Back your seats. Back your seats.
I was screaming.
Well, hold on. I don't know if you know this, but Ziggy is the biggest fan of Greg Zuerlein in the history of play.
You put on a Jets uniform and you can't kick. I saw a stat. There's 12 ex-Jets kickers on different teams now. 12 who have been in a Jets uniform. Like Amendola is kicking game winners for the Chiefs. And these guys can't even hit like 30-yarders for the Jets. So I think you put on the Jets uniform, like, he's going to miss the extra point. Hits it.
It was automatic.
Then, my God, I saw the first play, Brissett, like a 20-yard scramble down the line, and I'm like, this is it.
I thought for sure. I thought they were done.
Here it comes, another Cade York 60-yarder to win. Then I don't know. Thank God we were playing Jacoby Brissett, and we finally had to throw the ball. Pick. I was sprinting up and down. That's the biggest Jets win. Maybe ever. I'm being serious. 0-2, the season's over for us. We haven't won a game in September since 2017. Or since Darnold's debut, so 2018. I mean, man, it's okay. I literally, if we win this week against the Bengals, which I don't think it's the crazy thing to say anymore.
Oh, of course not.
We'll be at home. Not. We got Carl Lawson as our best edge rusher, revenge game. They haven't been able to block anyone. I mean, things are looking up for the New York Jets.
Are we going to the Pittsburgh game?
I said, if the Jets win, I will be in Pittsburgh. I'm not going to watch a 1-2 Jets team and Joe Flacco to get killed like a statue at Heinz or at Allegan or whatever the hell it's called.
No, we don't say Acrisure. Heinz Field. We don't say Acrisure.
But if we go 2-1, I mean,
if you beat the Bengals, all of a sudden now
there's a chance.
Like you pay attention.
Look,
you saw our schedule. Our last 4 games, we're playing bad football teams.
No, I think that you guys probably should have lost that game by double digits, and there shouldn't really be any. I don't think there is much hype.
Well,
but
what Ziggy said, what Ziggy said over our Slack was, do you make anything of these comebacks? Like, are these good teams coming back? And like, I think yes, if you make a comeback like this, you have to be at least a competent team. Like, there's a reason why the Jets never do this. There's a reason why. We don't see usually the Jaguars coming back down to because we've been bad teams. So I think that's what you always see. Oh, the Bucks, they come back and win. Oh, the Chiefs, they come back and win. Like, this is a big win. We're a young team, and now we have some faith.
I would have loved to have seen Zach Wilson do it.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
But Garrett Wilson, man, he's awesome.
Good. We found something.
He's a dog.
Yeah, there's big-time bright spots for sure, which we saw. I think it was one of the luckiest wins we'll ever see. I think it should have been a 13-point final.
I think the Bengals probably win by 14 points.
I don't blame Nick Chubb for not taking a knee.
Oh, I do.
Well, listen.
Let's not forget. Nick Chubb has been the exact same spot and gone down before. The reason Stefanski said this is Stefanski told him to score.
You think so?
That's what Stefanski said.
Guys, that's the fault of the Browns
coaching
defense.
Malpractice.
They're up 13 with 90 seconds.
No, I'm not saying that this is Nick Chubb's singular fault.
Collective fault.
However, if you think back at a game and say the Jets were winning by 6 and I see Michael Carter going 10-yard line, just fall. We win. He wanted his stats. Look, he thought literally it hasn't happened in 20 years. I'll take my another touchdown.
No, but
look, I wouldn't think twice about it. I really wouldn't.
Is there anything to support Kevin Stefanski? Did he come out and say that was my call, Ziggy? Or you just throwing this out there? He did?
So he should get fired.
He took the blame.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that's horrible. You go down and win the game.
Yes.
But
hey, we heard it from his fantasy owners again.
It's
we didn't want
more
that.
fun. Dude, I played Chubb. Unreal. And Waddle. But
yeah, you played Jeff.
It's fun when you win.
And I will say that I do not like that the Bengals lost to the Cowboys. I wanted them to win that game for the Jets' sake. Now they're like, if they actually lose in MetLife this season is
like
over.
A must-win.
Like they're either really, if they lose to the Jets, they're just not going to make the playoffs.
It's also a must-win off 2 close, rough losses they've had too.
But it's nice to be at home.
It's nice to be at home. Listen. MetLife is going to, there's people are going to, I already have my tickets bought. My dad bought tickets, I'm not exaggerating, within 15 minutes of the final. Like, I'm going to be there. I think it's going to be a packed
tickets for that game?
I think we got them, we got pretty good seats. I think they're like $60, so we got them right away.
Not bad at all.
But yeah, it's going to be a great game. I think that the thing I'm the most happy about is I think the days of the Jets just getting absolutely blown out are over.
There it is. There it is. I mean, that's it right there.
Well, listen, we played the Ravens.
Remember this moment.
The Ravens are good. We didn't get blown. I mean, we lost by 14, but it wasn't
24-9.
But it wasn't like a blowout. If you watch the game,
I thought you got mauled.
No.
I mean, look. For your sake, I hope you're right.
Garrett Wilson is a star.
If this 1 in a million fluke doesn't happen,
at one point it was 24-3.
That's fine.
If this 1 in a million fluke doesn't occur, it's a 13-point loss. Jets fans are pissed. But it did. Yes. Yeah.
But how many times have those 1 in a million flukes happened to the Jets?
Like this? What do you mean? This?
I'm going to name it for a Super Bowl. That's a pretty 1 in a million.
All right. Let's finish up here because
I am
the
pissed
Viking
though
game
now
sucks.
because the Browns off that loss host the Steelers Thursday night. We might lose by 30 points.
No, they're not capable of that. All right.
Just say, Paul, I can't believe you didn't notice. I'm wearing the Greg jersey.
Oh no, we
noticed.
noticed.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
Ziggy loves Greg Zuerlein. Let's end the show here. Zach, can you play this clip? Do you have it
Wait,
queued
can we
up?
get some background because I still don't
Oh
understand.
yeah,
gosh.
Okay.
All right.
So Jack, why don't you give the background because you're
I'll give some background
it's
here.
your story. Yeah.
So, I work at Sports Grid, which is a sports radio, television, betting company on a bunch of platforms, national airways, TV, radio, and my man, one of my coworkers, one of our hosts, Joe Ranieri. I work as a producer for him, often, weekly, and most of these guys, they like my picks, they respect it, they'll be on board.
Did they tell you?
Joe
Not really.
Joe Ranieri does not. Joe Ranieri will fade the hell out of me every single pick that I make. And this dates back, let me just defend myself before this clip. This dates back to one bad week of college basketball I had last year. I had a bad week of college hoops. I was probably 0 for 4 over 5 in a week. And Ranieri's like, let me fade this guy.
You're generally pretty good.
Now, I am generally pretty good. He is going off a very bad stretch. What you're about to hear.
I can't wait for him to see this clip. All right, Zach,
Can I see it? Is there any way I can watch
you play
it?
the full thing? You don't even need to. You don't even need to. Can you play the full thing? Okay, we're gonna play the full thing.
How long is this?
Like a minute.
About
minute and a half.
30 seconds. Oh, a minute and a half? Minute 30?
Minute 30. Minute 30.
All right, so
go ahead. This is on
Go.
national radio.
Of
Go for it.
Miami, the legendary Joe Ranieri. Hey, Joe, tell the story of the kid that's at the Auburn-Penn State game that works on the grid on weekends with you, and every time he makes a prediction, you guys run the other way.
Yeah, and we can't run hard enough. Yeah, good old Jack Weinberger here, one of the producers here during the week is last year during college basketball season, he started laying these locks of the year on us in our ear while we're doing shows, and without fail, as soon as he said I'm locking in whatever team, I would run the other way and fade it as soon as humanly possible. And we've just absolutely crushed it. I mean, he's right now at about a 96% clip.
It's not true at all.
Meaning every time he tells us to lock in one side or the other, we go the other way. And it is absolute money. He did it also in a college basketball game last year, Scotty, where he was at, I don't know if it was an Iona game or something, where he actually texted me a picture of the scoreboard, and they were up by 30 at half. And he said, you got to hammer them. And then sure enough, they came back and lost the game in the second half there. So the kid is a mush like I've never seen in my life. So he is locked in on Auburn. I got that text this morning, which means Penn State, here we come, Sean Clifford. It's coming, man.
Unreal.
So that game's at Jordan Hare.
Unreal.
Well, what is this basketball game you're at where they're up 30 and they lost?
So I'll clarify. That was not Iona. It was the Northeast Conference Tournament play-in game between FDU and Central Connecticut. I had FDU minus 3.5, and so did Joe.
You can't trust Jack on FDU. You can't trust Jack on FDU.
So he was with you.
So he was with me, pulling FDU. I'm at the game, and I take a picture of the scoreboard at half. FDU has a 25-point lead. I'm like, Joe, lock it in, baby. We're gold. Such a lock. And then he's like, God damn it, Jack. He's like,
That was really close to the second spit take on this show.
He's like, you're there. I'm like, sure am. Lock of a lifetime, FDU, minus 2.5. Central Con looks like Kentucky in the second half. Comes back, wins the game outright. And ever since that day, he thinks I'm the biggest mush ever, fades everything I do. And
He's at a 96 clip.
This game at Auburn, he won this one. He was on Penn
I think
State.
maybe it's if you go. You were 2-0. I think maybe if you go, they have no chance.
Yes. And
The
Paul,
mush.
you know that too. I'm a mush.
Well, I didn't think I was always.
This might be
called
good
the
for you, Paul, because he's going to be on BYU at Notre Dame. So
Yeah, oh, no.
I'm gonna be on
You're gonna
BYU. No, I'll probably be on Notre Dame.
Come on, I mean, we're running the table. We're running the table.
No, but I'm a mush. I've been to a lot of big college football games where the home team gets murdered. I'll be on the home
Notre
team that
Dame.
get murdered. I'm a good Notre Dame batter.
His kryptonite.
Yeah.
The mush kryptonite.
The mush night.
He always wins.
I saw Notre Dame play USC. Sam Darnold had Notre Dame. They murdered Sam Darnold.
Alabama.
Then it's from Alabama. Backdoor cover. Ian Book with a backdoor cover in the end zone.
okay.
So we'll see.
You weren't at those games.
I was at those games.
Oh, you were there.
Yes.
At the game,
So
yeah.
that's Notre
Okay.
Dame.
Kryptonite. So
Notre Dame's mush
That's a
repellent.
lock. I mean, that's a lock of a lifetime.
That's a lock. Yeah.
Yeah. Against
Whoever I'm
BYU.
on there is a lock.
I will never bet Notre Dame again after they couldn't cover against
Yeah,
Cal.
let's do like 2 more minutes here. We'll recap our bets.
Do you want me to?
My
Yeah.
God, what a horrible week of betting.
All right.
Whoa. Don't say horrible week for some
So
of us.
I had Panthers over 43.5 with the Panthers. With the Giants. That was terrible. Wasn't even close. I had Colts laying 4.5. They lost by 30. Paul had Notre Dame minus 10.5. They should have lost.
I had the worst beat ever with Cardinals.
Yeah,
Raiders.
Cardinals Raiders. He had under 51.5. It went to overtime, and then it was a 70-yard fumble return for a touchdown to lose. Jack had Auburn money line. They lost by 40. He had Steelers plus 2.5 at home against Mac Jones, and they lost. He had Rams Falcons under 45.5. I think they had like 80 points in that game. Zach went 3-0.
Zach was phenomenal.
That's what I'm talking about.
Zach, a little round of applause
Yeah.
for Zach here.
There should be. I don't bet very often, but
And I mean,
So you're not
Ziggy
going to
was-
read my bets?
Wait,
But you're not going to read
Well,
my
yeah,
bets? So you read
yeah.
everybody who loses.
we
you
don't
read.
need to read your bets.
Well, I didn't read any of our winners. I had Oregon. That was the best bet of the week. They won by 30.
Yeah, and then
But
Ziggy
actually had some pretty good bets, but he had UConn, which might be the worst bet of the year.
Let's count that as. Could that be 2 losses for Ziggy? I don't know who makes that type of bet.
I don't know, Jake. You're flirting there with the Auburn money line. We're
Auburn
all,
money line and you going there, flying thousands of miles.
But listen. Oh, I'm used to it, man. I'm used to it.
And then I'm stunned that he's wearing the visor and the shirt today.
Well, I had a phenomenal trip.
And the socks.
It was a fun
He's
trip.
wearing orange socks.
Orange, yeah. I had a
Was
fun
it
trip.
just you and your dad?
No, it's me and my buddy Alex, whose uncle lives down in Auburn. I stayed at his house. It was a fun trip. His cousin goes to Auburn. Hung out with them.
I mean, you probably couldn't wait to get the hell out of there after they lost.
I wanted to stay down there. You know, let me tell
you're
you.
sending pictures,
Let me
yeah.
tell you this, Andrew. Let me tell you this. Auburn has a home game right next week against Missouri, and the following week against LSU. I could have stayed down there, chilled, and hung out for the next 2 weeks, gone to both those games. I did not want to come back. I was eating at the Waffle
South
House.
changes you.
I was eating at the Waffle House. It was good. I was going out to the Sky Bar, this amazing bar in Auburn. Fun.
Shout out to Lindsay and her friends.
Lindsay, yeah, fun time.
Who's Lindsay?
Lynn's dog.
sister's friend.
Lindsay's our friend. She goes to Auburn.
I thought you were talking about your sister, but then I was like, why would he be talking
No,
about
my
your
sister's
sister?
friend.
Oh,
Yeah, it's just,
Yeah,
yeah.
my sister's Lauren.
Wait. So you just were
I'm
meeting
very
up with.
familiar with Lauren.
Oh, whoa. What does that mean?
Wow, there's a huge
We were engaged at one point. We were actually
Really?
engaged at one point.
She has a ring. There's a lot of story. There's a lot of stories.
All right, before we end, I just have one question for you, Ziggy.
And this is it, because I got to go for the season.
That is, well, it's about. This will come out. You seem to be the NFL man. You got the Jets. You got the Jaguars. What's the prediction tonight for Vikings Eagles?
Vikings by 1 million. But before we finish,
Well,
I
just
actually do
Vikings.
have something to say. I have an apology to make. So if you
I accept
remember,
your
I took Jets plus 6.5 last week, and I was flying back from the Notre Dame Cal game, watching this game live on my iPad, and I saw live the Jets make that insane cover, and this poor woman on the plane sitting next to me, her name was Natalie. I had to be next to me going absolutely nuts as the Jets won. So Natalie, if you're out there, if you're listening to the show, I apologize.
Just imagine
But
Ziggy.
it was worth for the Jets.
Ziggy
to
seems
cover.
like quite
Guys,
the
what's
ladies'
the,
man. He had Lauren and now Natalie. I mean,
Because what are the odds here that Natalie's listening to this episode?
Very high.
I'd say, well, how many? We had 6% women.
Well, hold on a
You think
second.
it's a-
we went back
well,
down.
well, this is how we'll know. Did did you plug our show to her?
No, I was too embarrassed. She was very unhappy with me. She was very unhappy with me. I think she would have left us a
end the
one
show.
star
Well,
review.
Well, let's set a goal for next. So what was our
end the show.
demographic split?
The last episode, we were, I think, like 98.9% men, 1.1% women.
Okay,
You know,
that's-
it's
better than
better than the
1.0%.
Andrew Tate video. It's better than the
That's
Andrew
true.
Tate video.
So we'll take that. So our goal, I say we get
10%.
no 10. That's
10's a
we-
lot.
We've never exceeded.
No, you said. Listen,
Five?
that's like I want the Jets to make the playoffs. You set the bar high.
Let's say
I
we
mean,
say
we
five. Let's
we
say
average like 100 views,
5%.
right?
I want 10
per
women.
thing. That's 10 women.
We are a little over 100.
How
Yeah, we're
what
a little
could-
over
maybe
100.
we
That's 10
start
women.
we start filming shirtless for the ladies.
Ooh,
How we get some ladies in between each of us here?
That'd be two.
I think that would make it worse. I think that would make it worse.
Oh, I think that would get the job done.
Oh, I mean, trust me, this gut.
All right, we'll wrap it up, and we'll be back on Friday with our Week 3 preview. And I'm sure that discussion
Skull.
will be yeah.
Oh, let me say one more
Yeah,
thing.
little skull.
I guess one more thing. There's one more thing. This is very funny, guys. Listen.
Stupid chat.
Listen to this, fellas. So, speaking of me being a mush,
I really gotta go.
before we head out,
Have they kicked off yet?
so it's funny. Before we leave
10
here,
minutes.
you know, I've been to two Penn State home games, right? Rooting for Penn State, they got mauled. Now I go root against them 1,000 miles away.
Do you have any other trips planned besides Notre Dame?
Maybe another Notre Dame.
I'm going to see the
Wait,
Steelers
he's going
play
to
at the
Notre
Dolphins in
Dame?
Miami.
He might.
I'm going to Notre Dame versus BYU in Vegas.
If you're going to the Notre Dame BYU game, let me know your flight information.
I will never let you know my flight information. Ziggy.
I know a guy at American. He can have a mechanical on your plane. Flight gets canceled. Notre Dame can win.
Well,
Paul will be
Unless you're rooting for
Ziggy,
BYU. If you're rooting for
Ziggy.
BYU, go.
Ziggy, Paul and
don't worry.
others
he's
will be on that flight.
Kryptonite with Notre Dame.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
All right. We're gonna wrap it up there. We'll see you on Friday. Again, like, comment, subscribe, everything. You know, we really need it.